this public hearing to order. This is the public hearing in regards to the City of Louisiana Enterprise water rates. This is the time for anyone from the public who wishes to address the council on the proposed water rates. They can step forward, state your name and address your concerns with the proposed water rate increase. We'll give it about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. If no one steps forward in 5 or 10 minutes, we'll call the hearing closed. Unless there's anyone from the council that wants to, so we can talk it out right now, so we don't have to talk it out during the meeting.
Yeah, I'd like to address something. I've been on the council for a year and I firmly believe that we need to improve the water system. I've said that more than once. And what we're doing now is obviously not working. My concern is that in crunching the numbers, and I've done that. If you're talking about a minimum increase for a resident, you combine it with the increase of the sewer, you're talking a $60 a month increase. Minimum. Okay. And I know there are a lot of people in this town. I mean, my constituents live in the trailer park back behind, over by Dose and all. A lot of those people are $60 is going to be a big hit.
How did you get that number?
You add the 30, you add the 3711 proposed increase on the sewer, and you add the minimum $21.55 for the minimum residential commercial charge, comes out to $58.66. Okay. I am not against a rate increase. I think we need a rate increase. But what I would like to see us do is break it out into two parts. And one, do a water increase first, since that seems to be more pressing need, and then follow up with the sewer increase at a later date. I think that would be a more equitable solution for the citizens. And I'll state publicly right now, and I've had this conversation with people on the board as well. If it stands in this current form, I cannot support it in good conscience.
So Councilman, are you on those figures, is that strictly the water rates that you're talking about?
No,
Or
I'm looking at the 37.
because we're only voting on the water rates.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to make the argument that if you combine it with the sewer rate increase that people are gonna have to pay, it comes up to almost $60 a month.
Okay.
And for a lot of my constituents, that's gonna be a big hit.
Okay.
Most of us can write that, we'll complain about it, but we'll write the check. But I'm sure there are people in this town that $60 a month is gonna be a big hit. What I would like to see us do, and I would like to propose, when we actually look at this, propose an amendment where we break it out and do one year and then do the water first and then do the sewer later. So we can mitigate that burden.
Did you
Councilman Twitchell,
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, my question is, I'm looking at my bill, is down at the bottom, we've got the tax charges, capital improvement, additional transactions. Are those set in stone that that's the amount that's every month is that amount? Or does that change with how much water and sewer you use? Because if it changes with the amount that you use, then we're talking about even a bigger increase than what John's talking
Yeah,
about.
those are minimum increases I'm talking about.
Okay.
I do want to touch on the minimum charge. We currently pay a minimum charge now, which is $18.30. We're taking it from $18.30 to $21.55. So for the water side, that's roughly $3. Say just shy of $4. And I think when you said when you were talking about water and sewer, you said $60, a $58 minimum. Well, you're actually only going to be taking it up for a 4,000 gallon usage would be $14.42. And then for wastewater, which is not, what we're not talking about now, would be $9.04, which would be a $23.46 increase for 4,000 gallon average user in the city of Louisiana, which would make a 4,000 gallon bill with everything included like 137. So you're not going up $60, we're only going up $23.46.
Well, you're only going up $23, but if you add that to what they're currently paying, they go from maybe a $40 increase or $40 a month or whatever it would be, up to $60 a month.
I don't think anybody gets away with $40. I think the average is probably around $70 at least.
Yeah, so, yeah, but the biggest clarification, because you did.
No, I understand what
You
you're
did, you
saying.
did state that it'll go up $60 or $58. But for the water side and the sewer side, we're looking at $24.
Completely, totally.
But
Going
that,
back-
That doesn't include the capital improvement expenses or the taxes, because that will go up too, but those, if you look on your bill, the percentage wise on that. Do we have a sample bill?
So to touch base on a little bit of that. And these were all in your packets that I
Mhm.
did, maybe 2 times ago.
Yeah, and I appreciate
I'm,
this.
I'm still not sure about that $23, because that $23, that's the usage, but that doesn't include the actual minimum increase. And if the minimum increase is going from 18 to 21, basically we're talking another $3, so it's a $26 increase.
Sorry, I'll come show you this. Just so you kind of get a little bit better. So an average current bill for residential water, $18.30 minimum, plus $22.43 for 4,000 gallons, plus 44 cents primacy fee, plus $1.56 capital improvements equals $42.73. An average projected bill, which is what the 2155 that we're aiming for, would be
That's what I'm.
$21.55 minimum, plus $33 for 4,000 gallons. So you see the increase there.
Okay,
Plus $2.09 capital improvement, which is going up from $1.56 to $2.09, and then our privacy fee at 44 cents remained the same, making it $57.15 total. So we're going from 42.73 to 57.15 for a minimum 4,000 gallon usage,
okay.
which is $14.42.
We're going from 42.73 to what?
That was
57.15.
question, which is, does that include that minimum?
That does,
usage fee?
I just
But
showed
it does
you, I
include
just showed
that.
you, yeah.
Okay,
What about possibly
But-
doing this? What he's talking about, basically, is what if what if the water went up? As you said, but the sewer stayed exactly where it's at for a minimum time and then slowly increase.
And to be honest with you, that's the council's discretion of how we play that part of it out. I will tell you, when we presented that slideshow, as of right now, we're still under $189,000. That's not even gonna break us even for what things we need to do.
So the biggest thing about this council is really, if you treat this like a business. I mean, this has been mismanaged for several years, period. And if we had a third party private provider that did this, we would be looking at increases significantly more than what we're looking at. The issue that we have, is whether or not the council wants to kick it down the road or not, or grab a hold and start taking care of it now and going by a 20-year plan.
I understand that. I still need to get clarification though on these tax charges, capital improvement, additional transactions. So are those based on usage or are those flat fees?
Those are based off of usage, so you would probably be. Well,
I thought your example included that.
yes, it did.
Give him that
Yes.
copy or make a copy.
That's so see how it went from $1.56 capital improvement. So
Okay.
you're gonna have 2 breakdowns of capital improvement on here because you have a wastewater capital and a water capital. I added them together on here, so you would be going to $2.09 from $1.56 to $2.09.
But that's still included in that 1442.
Yes,
Okay.
Can I ask a question real quick?
yes.
What percentage of the water users pay the minimum amount?
I can't give you a good answer on that.
Okay.
Because a minimum,
Or what is it? Let me restate the question. What's the average water bill in town? Can you give me that?
the average is about between 350, 400 cubic foot, which would be, it's about between $90 and $100.
Okay.
Are there any other council members that got any questions or concerns?
If,
Between 90 and 100.
if we do, as Jim was talking about, if we raise water but don't raise sewer right now. How far in the hole does that still leave us? Because you're saying we're 189,000.
So we're not, I'm not trying to pass it off. We would have that answer for you when we go over sewer rates, which will be on the 31st. So I mean, if that's an answer that you want, we can have definitive numbers for you on the 31st.
It's a real quandary because quite honestly, it's obvious that probably for a decade or longer. The system has not been maintained the way it should. And it really needs help and it's costing a ton so far. We spent a huge amount of money on it. It sounds like that the bids that we're getting are nowhere near what we have available to spend to get it back up to where it needs to be.
The
But
other
at the
thing-
same time, we're a place where most people don't have any extra cash.
Okay, I'm gonna open the floor for some other council members to voice.
Done.
Okay. Are you done, Councilman or Councilwoman Cordis, with your questions?
Yeah.
Councilman,
No, I had my bill was $99.96. And I think, I would go up probably, what was $22? Was it
Yeah, 20, the 23,
23?
26.
any,
And that's taken, was that the sewer included in that?
No, both.
Okay, that's
That's both
everything.
what happened.
So you can judge from yourself, from what your bill is. And I live by myself. I don't know why my bill's that high, but, maybe I ought to cut my, 2 showers down to a half.
Put a timer on it.
So
I'll,
quit giving the cats that aren't much water.
I'm gonna open the floor back up to the public. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address the council on the proposed water rate increase? Okay. Come on up.
So I have the privilege of serving as the chair for the Louisiana Ministerial Association. Appreciate your hard work, Clint, and the work of this council. One of the primary things that we do pretty much on a month-by-month basis is to help several people who have defaulted on their water bills. That is a primary aspect. We are blessed to have a couple different organizations help us out with the grants and the funding of that to assist in the water bill. I recognize that we do have to have something done. I realize that rate increase is a probability of that. I think part of my reservation is simply those who are on a very strict income that comes month by month. What can be provided as an alleviation for that particular rate increase? One of the things that I have noted in relationship to the bill is I think it would be really, really helpful in the presentation to the public is to actually provide an updated bill, what it would actually look like next month. Let's so my usage says 186. Let's say it's 200. for everybody, 200 for both water and sewer. What does that look like when you just break it down of helping people understand? Because I think the aspect of the primacy fee, the tax charge, I have two tax charges here, capital improvement, additional transactions. That provides a little bit of confusion, at least it does for me. And I think when there is a sense of detail or transparency, that really helps people better understand what things are actually going for. And I think there, just the aspect of recognizing that we are going to have increases for the basic aspect of water and sewer. Is there a plan of action where people don't have the ability to pay their bills? Because obviously that puts them in a predicament of having their water shut off, one, and if their water is shut off, then they're not able to live in their respective places of residence and such. So my hope would be that we as a city look at what do we do about those who really do have specific needs. I don't have a clear answer right now, but I'm wondering if there's maybe some more grant aspects out there that we don't even know about, maybe some community resources that we have not yet tapped into, that might be a part of this overall plan, and maybe even reducing the aspect of what it does mean to provide the repairs that are very much needed, as I understand. So appreciate
So,
the opportunity. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the one thing, the grant and those in need, that's gonna be the tough one to answer, and we don't have an answer for that. I do know 2 years ago, NECAC had a program that they came forth to the council willing to help. But it required a lot from the city water office to kind of make that happen. That might be something, if they still offer, that we can look into doing. But the one thing that you did address that Clinton's been talking about it is our billing. You see the other taxes there and how it's broken down. And the way that was done, the way I understand, Clinton, correct me if I'm wrong, but like when we did the LT2, because when we didn't have the money to fix the water plant, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we had to borrow $600,000. Well, that automatically went into taxes on your bill to pay for that debt service. So that's one of those other taxes. The other one was the Georgia Street project tax for the water main going up there. And they didn't combine it all into one capital improvement because with the debt service, we have to earmark specific funds that were collected and pay that debt service. And the easiest way for the water office at the time to do that was through the billing cycle. And that's why they broke it down. And we got way too many lines to put in there. And the discussion is to go through and try to consolidate that down to where it's easier for the consumer to see what that is going to. We do have an answer sheet, but it's very complex to look at it and go through it, where it could be simple, but I do agree on both aspects on that.
I guess just a point of clarification, I think Steve alluded to it just a little bit. In the new bills that we foresee coming out, is that all gonna be incorporated into the new base rate? Or are we gonna also have those additional? So I have 5 additional things that, to me, I don't know what that means. Primacy fee, tax charges, and this 2 itemized there, capital improvement and additional transactions. Those are uncertain for me. Is that gonna be?
So
So I can kind of answer that a little bit.
Yeah.
So of that minimum charge, $3.06 is a DNR mandated INI study. So It's basically, we have a lot of infiltration of our rainwater entering our sewer systems. So DNR put a $3.06 mandated charge on us. $5.04, well, just like most things that we're trying to prevent from this process, is $5.04 is for the Georgia Street sanitary sewer. So we're making payments till like 2031 on Georgia Street sewer. I think of your water bill, your current bill now, I think anywhere between 12 and 16 is paying debt. It's debt service. We're $12 to $16 is literally paying debt off for infrastructure improvements and things that we needed to do. So the process is, and you, by the sound of it, you weren't able to make the last time we had this stuff. But I would be more than happy to give this stuff to you because this shows, or to make you a copy. Because this shows, and I know it doesn't do this, it will be good for you, but there's a lot of other people that have the same language or questions. This is a complete 20-year plan. And as you can tell, just year one cost $369,500. This is all major improvements and things that we need. I know that everybody's aware of the THM violations that they're getting. We can get that's on your water bill. You have access to that. What it is, it's just a high THM levels in our water. And one part of that replacement plan is to get that resolved, to put mixers in our, and to offset that, what's causing the issues for us. So there is a whole plan behind all of this. I mean, we did present it. It shows everything in detail, numbers of what's going where, what it's for, and everything like that.
I think that's helpful. I think what I'm asking is that going to be is that going to be, are these charges still going to be on next bills once there's the rate
So-
increase?
As of right now, we just learned of this. So $18.30 is your minimum charge for your current water bill. Of that $18.30, a portion of that is these charges right here. They're already figured into the minimum. There won't be an additional because those charges are
Okay.
part of that minimum charge.
Okay. Okay,
So,
so they're incorporated within that base minimum.
yes, and our ordinance actually reads that way of so much of that minimum charge will be used for capital improvement, LT2, debt service, things like that.
I think in just providing really helpful transparency to the public. It would be, for me, if, say, here's my old bill. Based upon what I know I used last month. Here's what the new bill is gonna look like next month, based upon the new proposals that are there. I think that will really help you sell the plan, at least to the public. I know the decision is made here, but to the public, it would be very helpful to provide some of those.
I do.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say that an average bill is gonna go up $22 to $24 a month. I mean, that's kind of how we look at it, Councilman Twitchell.
I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. So the future bills will not show the primacy fee, the two tax charges, capital improvement, or additional transactions. Those 5 charges will be rolled into a single line, which is called the minimum charge.
It's very, very complicated to explain. So as of right now, no, those will still be that way on the billing. The issue we have is few of those charges are generated off of usage, not your minimum, but your usage charge. And the only way to get that minimum and to bill it correctly is to have it in our billing software as that way. It does set confusion because it gives you an additional transaction because there's so many line items on there. It doesn't even show it on the whole bill. And so as of right now, no, those will still be on there, but the minimum charge of the 1830 currently now, or the 2155 projected, that will come out of that minimum charge and won't show on your bill like that.
So the whole thing on this, we got a lot of these extra lines because we keep on borrowing money and paying interest for stuff to fix things. And the 20-year plan is ideally, we're gonna be fixing things as we go.
So we're not having to pay interest.
So we're not have to pay interest and go back and now, heaven forbid if Star Hill tank blows out and we have to do something, well, we may not have the capital to do that. We'd have to get something to do that. But if it's maintenance and repair and upgrades as we go in that 20-year plan, we shouldn't be borrowing any money.
next question, this is going back to what John was saying about people who just can't afford it. Do we have any plan right now that if people come in to the office and say, look, my bill this month is $100. I only budgeted 75. Can they pay that 75 and then have the other 25 that they owe that they will try to pay off as time goes by? Do we have any kind of situation like that?
we
And
do.
do we charge interest?
No, we don't charge interest, and we do have occasions, it's a case by case basis. The director would have to approve it, and then I would have to approve it, and then we would set up a promissory note with signatures on it and a payment plan to accommodate that. We are flexible that way, but we try not to advertise that, but it is there. It's on a case by case basis, but there's nothing in our ordinances except for Missouri statutes allowing the mayor to actually, I forget the proper term, but basically reprieve on some of those things.
Try to work.
But I cannot reprieve actual cost occurred by the city, and a water bill would be an actual cost to the city.
But I do want to make sure that we're not charging people interest.
Yeah, we don't do that. Now, we do on liens, when we put liens on properties, but not on that. Is there anyone else from the public?
Hold on, guys. So, you guys might have already discussed this. You got somebody in this town. They got a minimum water bill of this, absolutely zero sewage used. How are they billed?
It'd be the base rate for the water and the sewer, and
With zero sewer used?
yep, that's exactly
That's
right.
how your ordinance is wrote.
That's exactly right.
I've had the same thing happen when I was out of town, and I had zero water usage in the winter.
There's
zero
more than
sewer.
one, but
And I asked that question,
Still got a bill.
and I still got a bill, and I still paid it, and I'm still aggravated about it, to be honest.
those are doctors.
But I understand why they do that. It's the maintenance issue.
Right.
They still have to
So they just
maintain
keep
that
water
pipe,
meters
and
off?
they still have to maintain the water line. So
You-
I
you yield
understand
the
why
floor.
I don't like it, so I understand.
You cry when and write the check.
All right, I'll bring it up again.
Uh-huh.
Now, perhaps I will be dead by the time the debt service is paid off. However, as I said before, the ordinance reads that charge will not come off your bill once it's paid off.
You are absolutely correct.
I know I am. So what about that? Why aren't you gonna change that ordinance so that that fee goes away?
There's not an emergent need until 31 to do that. And at that
Right.
time, if we're doing good and everything else, I'd be all in favor of dropping it.
Otherwise, we're gonna be paying it.
Yep. And that's not the only tax that's like that.
Right, but we're discussing water right
Yeah. I mean, that sales taxes like that, water rates are like
now. I
that.
understand.
And that's how the previous councils made
But
those
this is
ordinances.
Now, and this is this council, and there's nothing that keeps you from changing the ordinance. So that
Right,
when the
right.
debt service is paid off, it goes away off the water.
Yep. Well, you're absolutely right. We got till 2031.
Got one more, because I was supposed to ask one of your tenants. They had a water leak at one of the apartments in this town that has multiple apartments. Their water bill has doubled from a leak. These. Oh. So her water bill went from, let's say 7 something to almost 13. She's on here, so. Do you also give any kind of lenience on that?
So usually if there's a water leak and it's identified where that leak was at and did not go through our sewer system, we will discount, we'll take off the sewer rate for that amount of difference.
Well, I mean, I don't want, she don't care.
So, but as far as the water, even if it's leaking to the ground, it still costs us money to reduce that. So that we still charge for the water, but if someone's filling their pool, we don't charge for the sewer. If someone's has a leak outside, not going into sewer, we don't charge their sewer. If
But there's
there's,
an active water leak that the city
But-
fixed. I sent you a
The
video.
question is on which side is it? Is it on the city side?
One over here.
no, what side of the meter?
Which side of the meter, because if it's on the private property part of the meter, it's not the city's responsibility.
But if it's on the city side, it is the city's responsibility.
I think she said it was on the city.
Yeah, it shouldn't gone through her meter then.
Well, her bill went from 600. It's in my car, I meant to bring it.
But the biggest thing on that, if they haven't already come in and spoke to Clinton or the water office, they can profile and they can investigate and they can make that determination.
I know she went ahead and paid it, but she just brought it up to me before I come down
Yeah.
there. So
So even if that's the case, if they come in and speak to Clinton or the water office, bring her bill and what the situation was. And verify that it didn't go through the sewer, that adjustments can be made.
send her your way.
She should come in and ask, by the way, because I've had similar things happen to me personally, and I did not know to come in and ask. And Mr. Giltner told me and I should, and they were very nice and they reduced my sewer cost because of that.
That's what she's worried about. I mean, there are a lot of department.
But if I had to ask, they wouldn't. So she should come in. Don't feel that she, tell her not to hesitate.
All right, I'll go, any other comments? I'm gonna close this public hearing. Open this regular council meeting for Monday, March 24th, 2025, 6 P.M. City Clerk, will you give the roll call, please?
Councilman Sutton,
Here.
Councilman Bell,
Present.
Councilman Gilter,
President.
Councilman Gott, Councilman Price, Councilwoman Cordis,
Here.
Councilman Phillips,
Here.
Councilman Pritchett.
Here.
There being a quorum, I'll call this meeting to order. Please give the invocation.
Lord God, you love the city. And you desire the well-being of a community. I pray, Father, that in these days where some really important decisions are made, that you would not only provide wisdom and a sense of discernment for this council, but those who provide advice and counsel as well would be able to speak into things that are often very complex. We pray, Lord, for unity in our community. We pray for care, neighbor to neighbor. We pray for patience. We pray, Lord, that there will be respect and honor. And we pray that, Lord, as we do work together, that this community would thrive. It would experience success. It would experience some of the best days ever. And I pray that, Lord, you would help us to look to you because we need help. We really need understanding that goes beyond our experiences and our educations. And so, Lord, we ask you to guide this meeting this evening. And may there be a sense of peace and calm in this room, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Councilman Bell, would you do the honors of leading us in the pledge?
Everyone needs to take their ball caps off. Sir? You take your ball cap off.
Or leave.
Or leave. This is the pledge of allegiance. You don't honor your country?
I'm honoring it right now.
No, you're not. You're being very disrespectful. You should be. Lose kindness.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
Of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
Should add that stuff, we could just go there. Here's, it's a try. Well, they're going. We just know. All right, I'll open the floor up for any consideration of comments from the public regarding any item on the meeting agenda. Council, there's no any agenda amendments needed? Hearing none. Approval of the minutes. February 24th, 2025, got a first. Second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Consideration approving the minutes for February 24th, public hearing meeting. Second. All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Opposed, like sign. Again, February 24th, special council meeting minutes.
So moved.
So moved.
Second, approved. Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign.
How come the citizens don't have a chance to speak?
They did. I opened the floor.
No, you didn't. I
Yes,
didn't.
he did too. He did.
Well, I wrote my letter and turned it in. Why can't I speak?
You're out of order right now. You'll have a chance at the end of the meeting.
That ain't what I had in my letter though.
So anyway, everyone get a copy of the treasurer's report. Are there any questions on the treasurer's report? You should have got a copy of the balances and the warrants for the city and the enterprise side.
I'll bring it up in the next work discussion. I just have some questions about these restricted funds for the city and the enterprise in terms of how they can be used and things like that.
Okay,
Because I see an opportunity there with the 1.8 million that perhaps we could use a portion of that. And again, I don't know the specific restrictions, but perhaps that could be a source of maybe some way of the city, at least having a little skin in the game with respect to the water situation. If we could use that money, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
so roughly, real quick, roughly. Some of that is our debt service for the LT2 and the Georgia Street. We do have approximately, and I believe it's on approximately 585,000 in capital improvements. Those are restricted for wastewater, the percentage and percentage for the water treatment side. So those can be utilized and we can go through that in detail in the work study.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at creative solutions here for
Right.
what we're looking at here. So just a thought that crossed my mind. Thank you.
Consideration to approve the treasurer's report.
So second.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Council, it's my pleasure to bring up, the city and the enterprise have started the process of putting together the year 25-26 budget. So, the budget, template's been pushed out to all the department heads. And we will, put out in our next work study session, a series of reviews going over, budget proposals for, next fiscal year. We are anticipating, having the budget passed, the last regular council meeting in May before the June 1st, new budget year. So more to come on that, but I do want to give credit to the city treasurer, the city clerk, and the water office, and on all the department heads for the amount of work that they've put into it so far. Next item I have, council, is the tourism board. We did have a resignation of Janine Kelly. I do put up Liza Jada, if I butchered that last name, but as an appointment to replace her. Considers, under consideration for the council to approve. If they would.
I so move.
Second.
First, second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. City administrators report.
Council. So I have an update on, some of our bigger projects for streets and parks. So for streets, we had a pretty big cleanup after the March 14th storm, that we had. We were taking care of, trees that have fallen down, debris, that were affecting roadways. Of course, that comes with cleaning out storm drains, especially around our drive. In South Carolina 15, couple weeks I talked about how, we started cutting, and we started that on the Monday the 10th. We began digging on the 11th. We couldn't really find a, exact reason for why the road was caving in over there. But we were able to, fill it in with rock, put some rebar down, poured some concrete, and, we were able to basically fix that patch. But we did notice, and I have a picture included with my report of the finished product. And as you can see, someone was drawing pictures in the concrete. They were drawing hearts, smiley faces, initials, which is pretty frustrating, but we will be going through and laying some cold mix, kind of smooth out the area and to kind of hide those in it. That's the plan. For 805 and 807 Georgia, that sidewalk, we started stripping it last. We were able to have it formed and ready to go for pouring for Friday morning. It was going really well. The majority of the sidewalk was poured, looks good, but we ended up running out of concrete. So there's one little section that we still have to pour, but we should have that done by the end of this week. And we did start getting approval for the next section of sidewalks for the 903 and 917 Georgia. And we will probably begin that next week. For 900 and 914 South Carolina, that ditch that we're digging out, we're gonna be laying some culvert piping in there. We're starting that tomorrow. We just got the necessary pipes that we need in the T-fittings. And again, like I said, we're gonna start digging tomorrow. We have already formed the drop boxes for it this morning. And we're just basically prepared ourselves today for it. Also included in those pictures with my report is Edison Avenue or River Road. It's splitting, the road's splitting in the middle. Again, I threw those photos to kind of give you a visual of what it looks like. And it does fall on the city's road. So I will be looking into I'll be pulling that contract with Bly, I think it was. Or they're the one who provided the concrete, but figuring out who the contractor was, pulling that concrete, seeing what we can do as far as getting that road fixed up. And then something I meant to bring up a couple weeks ago was putting in handrails down at the riverfront. I know myself and Councilman Sudarth, we were speaking with some contractors about potentially getting plans drawn up for an ADA ramp at the riverfront. And that was one of the concerns that the contractors were constantly bringing up, was not having the rails and down the riverfront to block off anyone going into the river. So that is something that I would eventually like to look into and get installed. So that's it for streets. For parks and grounds, again, we had the teams cleaning up after the storms. We had a couple trees down at the cemetery that we had to cut up and haul off. I want to announce that all the parks are open, including the bathrooms. The one there's only one bathroom that's not open, it's at Lincoln Park. We just have to do some fixing up to it, it was damaged. But once we get that done, it'll be up and operational. We started mowing today, first mow of the year. And then we will start cleaning Town Branch here pretty shortly. That's the next project we'll be working, so. As far as the city update, that's all I have. If you guys have any questions for me.
Council, you got any questions?
I can see you after the meeting.
So I've had a couple of people approach me and they heard that we were tearing down Lincoln Park building. So is there any truth to that?
No, we're not considering down.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you. Fire chiefs, or excuse me, enterprise director's report.
So I reached out to the chief operator down at the water plant today, just to follow up on the TOC testing that we were conducting. In order to reduce our THMs, he has started the testing and he has noticed significant drops on their TOC level since we washed the primary and secondary basins. And THM testing, he has received the kits, those are scheduled to be taken on Wednesday and sent in. We just gonna touch base again. We did gather the 4 estimates. The council approved for foundation recovery systems to start on the concrete repair at the wastewater plant. That's scheduled for April 10th and the 11th. We're still planning to drain the basins and get them clean. We're planning on that after the spring rain still to kind of, once our flows and things are reduced. Our Trojan UV system at the work study, I shared some information on what that was gonna cost. I also have a packet of information if anybody would like to see that in detail. I am asking for the council's approval to move on the first phase upgrade of that UV system. Our operator down there likes to start turn that on April 1st, and they do, between him and the manufacturer, they do have concerns that is not going to work the way they are hoping for. With that being said, like I said, I'm asking for the council's approval on that, and I did include that paperwork in your guys in the packets and in the folders for that.
So council, this was talked about at the last work study session. One of those DNR requirements that we need to do, we're looking at $46,000 for phase 1. This is part of that capital improvement stuff. So you kind of heard the question, council consideration.
That was in the work studies. That was all the information was included in that work studies. And just to make sure after the manufacturer, we reached out to them just to make sure if there was any way we could alter, maybe go a little cheaper this time, the way we set that up. They are recommending that everything that's on that first phase is be done at one time, which is a lot of the electronic components and controls. And that first phase is $40,765.42.
Cheaper than what I said. Was that a motion you had, Councilman?
Sure.
You heard the motion? Second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Oppose, like sign. The motion carries.
I shared with the council at the work study that the auger system that we had rebuilt, and all the work that we had done, that gearbox had went out on us again. It was under warranty. They sent us all the stuff to return it. We have pulled that and it is already back in their possession. We're just waiting for the verdict of what exactly happened or caused that to malfunction. But like I said, it is under warranty. I reached out to Schulte Supply that's handling the lead service inventory for us. They did mail out today all of the letters. When you receive this letter, it's going to have a QR code on it. If you're electronic savvy, you'll be able to scan it with your phone, take pictures, do whatever you need to do with what they're requesting. If you're not, you'll be able to bring all that information into City Hall. and we'll get it to them. Also on that letter that's gonna be going out, they did provide the water office with that exact copy so that we were able to answer questions for anybody that has questions on what's going on with it. Flushing hydrants, they started that on March 10th. They are scheduled to be finished with that tomorrow.
I was in the shower.
Yeah, so we kind of changed the pattern just a little bit on it. We used to shoot it towards the ground. It would eat the ground out. We had a lot of people that had concerns, so we kind of let it rain itself down now. The distribution guys, they did get the South 30th Street hydrant completed. They have about 6 more that are scheduled to be replaced also. The meters were ordered. They're expected for delivery at the end of April. And the distribution guys also spent about a week on Star Hill at the Murray Street ground storage tank. They did DNR in 22 did a report on that, and they were able to. The distribution guys were able to go up, take all that grout out, redo it, and as soon as the weather allows us to, we've gotten everything ready to paint it. So that'll be a pretty good start on that.
Any questions on the enterprise?
Any idea by us doing it in-house, what we're saving on getting that painted?
I found an estimate from 2015 for $11,000 to have that exact tank done with exactly what we're doing to it. So I would anticipate a couple of weeks worth of labor for 2 guys, and then just, our machine being up there, our bucket truck, and the paint and the paint sprayer. I would say will probably be $5,000. And that's also from 2015, so inflation's taking a toll on that number.
Good, good savings.
Fire chief's report?
So we're gonna have a lot of fundraising events that are gonna be coming up. Actually, this month we decided to hold a fundraiser for a $250 gift certificate. We started selling on 3/19, and we were scheduled to draw in April. We're gonna have that drawing this Wednesday because I think we've only got about 10 tickets left. They did very well on selling everything, and that's huge for us. All of our trucks just went through a service, getting serviced. So we did that in-house. 2 of them are not. One of them is still scheduled. The other one is being looked at for an issue with the turbo. They were responding to a all power, and we just flipped it back. So it is back. It's back, and as of right now, the only issue they have found is the turbo. So we don't have a cost on that just yet. April 12th, we're gonna be holding a pancake breakfast fundraiser. We're gonna have the Easter Bunny and all that stuff at the fire station. I encourage everyone to attend and support the fire department. And calls wise, we had 21 medical calls since the last council meeting, and we had 18 fire related calls. So we were pretty busy over this past month.
Any questions?
Good
Yeah,
job.
Thank you. Police chief's report?
So last regular council meeting, I didn't have the statistics in time, so I included the ones from the month prior and then the current ones. For the month of January, we had 159 calls for service and 29 traffic stops completed. And then for the month of February, we had 133 calls for service and then 25 traffic stops conducted. We do have 1 cadet that's scheduled to graduate the academy on April 2nd. And the other 2 cadets we have that they just started the academy this morning.
Questions?
Impersonation of a police officer, that's a new one.
That was the one that made the news, the gentleman that was claiming to be ICE.
Clean the ice.
Yes. Well, and wanted to deport a gentleman here in town. So,
All right, any other questions? Thank you, chief. Does any committees have anything to report? Is there any old business that we haven't discussed?
We are moving ahead on Lomo Fest. Chase wants to talk about that just yet, but if he does.
So we've been planning to have an event for quite some time. We've had some trouble getting quorum together for quite some time with some of the members because they have businesses and conflicting schedules and different schedules for work and whatnot. And we've decided that July 5th of this year will be Momo Fest. That will be one day after July 4th. And the reason why we chose that weekend is because the weekend after, there's going to be a Lincoln County Fair. And so they're gonna have special guests there, and what we're trying to avoid is having kind of like a ghost scenario where people don't show up because they're attending other events. So that this time of the year, we have to compete. And so after putting together Momo Fest, we have came to the conclusion of some special guests and some of the entertainment options that we have for the event. And tourism has had quite a few ideas, but what we agreed on, we're hoping that the council considers this. So we have a gentleman by the name of Bill White. If you know anything about Momo Days, he was here a couple of years back, and if you just take a look at the PBS video, he brought quite an audience, pretty entertaining. He's actually on tour. He's also a comedian, stands with that. So that's just entertainment. People who want to attend the festival, that's about $1,200. And then tourism board also agreed on the location of the festival. So the festival will take place at the riverfront. We're hoping to have the event start right around like 1 Georgia Street and make like an L shape where Water Street's at, and hopefully be able to figure out how we're going to take these vendors and logistically move them around. But we're hoping at the very end, if we can combine all of our efforts together, we'll also have a Momo monster, hopefully like an effigy of some kind. But we're still working on the details of that, like a burning Momo at the very end. But we haven't got to that point yet. I know I reached out to Lacrosse and haven't heard back from them, see if they would be interested in sponsoring, donating some wood planks or something. I know some of my tourism committee members, you all reached out to CMC, correct?
Yes, as far as we know, they're on board once everything's finalized and we can get to them what we need for the welding.
Okay, so we're hoping that CMC will be polite in donating a metal frame for the statue or the effigy that we plan to build. Tourism has also agreed upon a budget of $100 for new ID tags. The concept of the ID tag is that if we're meeting strangers to talk to them about potential sponsorships or anywhere, they're going to want to see some official lamination. You'd be surprised if people see official tags when you show up and talk about your proof of concept and what you're hoping to accomplish. They're going to see those tags and they're going to say, hey, these people are serious. We want to see this event come to fruition. And we're also hoping that the council will consider $150 for a gentleman named Rob Walgas from Ellsbury, Missouri. He'll perform for about 2 hours. And I believe that comes up to, let's see, I think what, $1,450 is what we voted on out of our budget. Is there any questions or concerns?
So at our next work study session, maybe if you would plan to come and attend, so we can kind of dive into it a little bit more.
Okay.
If that'll work out. Any questions for Chase? Well, thank you.
Good job.
All right, new business. Bill number 7235, water rates. Council's consideration to give this a first reading.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. You take the roll call.
Councilman Sudar,
Yes.
Councilman Bell,
Yes.
Councilman Giltner,
Is there any way we can wait for the sewer rate?
We're not doing,
I know, next time.
yeah. Sewer rate, this is just the water rate.
You mean so that we can get a better idea of
Yeah.
the total new bill?
Yes. I'd like to delay my vote until we discuss the sewer rate, see what the total.
Abstain. Abstain.
Abstain.
Councilman Scott,
They,
Councilman Price,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cortez,
Abstain.
Councilman Phillips,
No,
Councilman Mitchell.
Abstain.
We'll table that. Consideration to approve bids for asphalting at the riverfront. You could go over them.
Right, so for asphalting, the riverfront parking lot, it's gonna be the east side. So we're looking at the ramp, it's gonna be on the right side. I've included both bids in you guys' folders. The first one I'm looking at is Mid Rivers Asphalt. For approximately 3,900 square yards. That's $54,284.68. That includes all the information of what they want to do. And then I've also included Patterson's asphalt. And that will be $78,268. Now, the main difference between Patterson asphalt and Miller asphalt is Patterson's wanting to mill a lot more.
what's that? Say again, I'm sorry.
They're wanting to mill a lot more. So if you look at Patterson's bid, they approximately 34,000 in parking lot, and they're wanting to mill at the entrance area. And basically, it's just a lot of milling that Patterson's wanting to do compared to Mid Rivers. So those are the only two bids that we got for.
Mid River's not doing milling.
They're doing some milling, but it's nowhere close to what Patterson's wanting to do.
I believe the difference is Mid River, correct me if I'm wrong, they're planning on laying down a little bit more asphalt too. Yeah.
Okay, they're going over the 2 inches.
Yeah.
I just kind of wondering how.
Yeah, so on the heavy truck side that goes next closest to the railroad. That's where the heavy truck, especially if the railroad uses it,
That would be 3.
it's gonna be 3 inches.
So
Okay.
Patterson's doing that or Mid Rivers doing
Mid
it?
Rivers.
Yeah, they're doing more in Mid River.
They're doing the action. They're not doing all the milling.
Yeah.
So that, I'm gonna defer this to Councilman Sutter. Yeah, yeah, so the lesser of the two bids, which is Mid River, is at 52,000, right, roughly 54,000. And Patterson's at 78,000. The big difference is Patterson's will do more milling, less asphalt. Mid Rivers will do less milling, but more asphalt.
Good.
My concern is, one thing, there's like 3 or 4 soft spots that need to be dug out. And I don't see either one of them addressing that.
They both addressed that and both agreed to do that.
To do it.
I walked over everything with them,
Okay.
but it's in the bid. I mean, it's figured in that price.
I have a question.
Yep.
I'm no engineer. I don't know jack squat about asphalt other than spending a summer laying it one year. What's the difference between milling and non-milling?
The milling is grinding down the old asphalt and putting new asphalt in where what we've got down there for no more traffic than what we've got on that. The milling's not necessary.
Okay.
The heavy, we're gonna have them lay an extra 2 inches on the heavy traffic part, which is that strip from the drive down to the gate. Where if we have any heavy trucks hauling down through there, that'll be covered, but the rest of it's just gonna be overlay.
So there's really no need to mill, is what
No.
you're saying?
And they're gonna mill the butt joints where they connect to the old asphalt and all that, and they will mill that. But the rest of it, they're not going to.
Okay. Thank you.
I was just.
I was wondering that too, because I was thinking there's not that much traffic down there, that we need to mill that much. But my question is, since the traffic that is heavy trucks is the railroad, does the railroad help out any on that?
Well, the city,
Any of that maintenance?
the city uses it too, as far as hauling the dump trucks down there, the snow and all that, when they haul that down there, it's. I don't think the railroad does.
No, they pay taxes to us every
Okay.
year, so.
Just curiosity. Just curiosity.
All right,
Bill, which one are you recommending?
I recommend the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
it's a form of motion.
Yes.
You heard the motion.
Yeah.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, consideration and approval for bid mowing of cemeteries. We advertised to open them tonight, so.
Yep.
He's opening up the bids tonight.
Right, so the first one is from Jay Krieger, mowing and property maintenance.
We don't have that, do we?
No.
No.
Okay.
So. It seems like they, it's a no for, Riverview Cemetery, so they do not, do Riverview, but, from Memorial Gardens, they are, quote us $300 per each mowing and weeding. So acres, $300. The next one is from McCoy Thompson with the MT Lawn Care. For Riverview Cemetery, it's $2,700 per each mowing and weed eating. And then $295 for each mowing and weed eating from Memorial Gardens.
Go over that again, please.
Can you go over
Yes,
the
sir.
first one too, real fast?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I need to write.
Okay, so the first one is from Jay Krieger, mowing and property maintenance. So they do not want to mow Riverview. But for Memorial Gardens, it is $300 per mow.
300.
Yes, sir. The second one is from McCoy Thompson with MT Lawn Care. For Riverview Cemetery, it is $2,700 per mow. And then for Memorial Gardens, it is $295. Yes. One more. This one's from Fidencio Delgado, the lawn care and construction. So for Riverview Cemetery, it is $3,300 per mow. And then for Memorial Gardens, he put on here $400 every 10 days to mow every 10 days. So those are the 3 bids that we have.
Do we have references on the MC lawn care?
From
Do you,
McCoy.
do we?
I don't have any references, no.
Which one is that?
Fidencio, the last
I
one.
was saying, do we have any experience with any of the three of these?
So we currently use Fidencio
The last 2
the
years.
last 2 years.
And they've done a
You
nice
used to,
job.
I'm sorry.
The last 2 years. Delgado.
Were they the same bid
Can we
Yeah,
get some
Fidencio is the
references on
same.
the
for
board?
the last 2 years?
Yes, sir. The difference with Fidencio this year is with Memorial Gardens, he wants to do it every 10 days. Instead of whenever we need him to mow, so that's the only difference.
What's the rationale behind that?
He claims that it grows a lot faster over there and it just gets too tall. for him and his guys to mow. He takes a little bit longer for him to get it done. So that's
So
why
what's he
was-
charging us now to do it once a month or whatever?
So it's all the same amount. I think it was, for Memorial, it's the $400 per mow. But he's just requesting that this year it's moved to everything.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Well, MT seems to be a lot better deal, but, we really need some references. if
Do we
never
know-
worked with them.
does it give any references as far as, how large of a crew he has or or does there specs is there specs that states how long they have to get it mowed?
So I don't think he's included anything like that. I do know that he has 4 or 5 guys that he has hired full time to mow for him. So I do know that for sure, but as far as any references and anything like that, I don't have.
In our bid specs though, do we give them once we call for it to be mowed, it's gotta be mowed within so many days?
Yeah, it's a week, I believe, 7 days.
The last one you gave, is that the one that's been mowing for the last,
Yes, sir. The
been
Venancio
doing the
Delgado.
mowing for the last 2 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where's MC Lawn Care out of?
Bowling Green.
Delgado's out of,
I think Delgado is here in Louisiana.
He's here.
We can split them up. We can have one do Riverview and one do Memorial Garden.
You gotta have a mower.
a mow fest.
Mow off, one do 1 month, one do the next. Whoever does the best job, that's who we hire.
That's all the bids I have.
Council's pleasure, any?
I sure would like to get some references on the MT folks before we make a decision.
I kind of like Councilman Bell's idea. And let MC do Memorial Gardens and see how they do with it, since it's a smaller cemetery. And it's, $105 cheaper for them to do it. And then that way we can see how they do doing that. And
It's
then-
also $600 cheaper on Riverview.
Yep. I just know mowing season's coming upon us.
Yeah.
But you know it.
I really wish they'd put in some references.
I could ask for reference.
Well, we have,
the reference on the last
Right.
one.
The other two could have to have a reference.
we
If they
can,
don't have a reference, then they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
the one
Able to
that
even
does-
bid.
The one that doesn't want to do Riverview at all, I don't think we should even
No.
consider them.
so we have a meeting on the 31st, so we can table until the 31st.
Yeah, I make a motion, we table until we get references.
Second, any discussion?
References and the mowing schedule, probably
Yeah.
the mowing schedule.
Yeah. Well, the mowing schedule, usually when we call for it.
That's usually on call.
Yeah, 'cause they have 7 days to do it.
Okay,
$100
well, probably
today.
what we do we call it.
Yeah, we can give you that. We can give you that.
I know right now, from last year, it was roughly 10 to 14 days is when we would call. It just really depends on, if we get rain or really what the conditions are like,
That's good enough for me.
so,
And then they have 7 days after that.
yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the table?
Yes.
Yes. All right, council, what I have, asked the council for consideration to go out for bids for construct design for an ADA sidewalk ramp at the riverfront and go out for bids, bring back to the council. We have a have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Carries. Councilman Phillips.
Okay, talking with him and just kind of looking at it. I'd like to see a better use of some of the land at Veterans Park. And, we got that whole lower part of the park that basically just sits there. And we're paying, cut it and everything else. And I live up there on that hill and you never see, and you know the same thing, Jimmy, you never see anybody down there except for sledding season when they go down the hill when it snows. And one of the things we're looking at, thinking about doing is maybe putting a fishing pond of some sort down there on that lower level. Now, I've been walking, I think it's a great idea because I think it would drive traffic down in there. In walking the land the other day, there are some challenges. Number one, where are you gonna put it? Number two, there's a creek that runs right through the center of that. Those are the two, topographic challenges that I see. I'm in the process of reaching out to DNR and some other, and following some of the suggestions you gave me to see if there might be grant money. I'm not suggesting we budget for that, but see if there's some grant money that might be available from DNR to put something in there. I think it would be great. I think it would be great for the park, because again, that lower, a third of the, unless you're around the pavilion, tiny town, the rest of that park doesn't even get used. Okay,
It's allow you to build a pond there,
I don't know,
for the fact if the dam ever broke, it flooded people below it,
right?
they'd probably shut you down on that.
Yeah, but I think it's worth at least investigating.
Is it above the old swimming pool?
No, it's below the old swimming pool. You got the swimming pool, tiny town, all that up there on that plateau by the pavilion, and then it drops off.
Yeah.
And there's a creek that runs through, there's some trees on the left-hand side. You got the property owners that butt up against the one side of it. But the challenge is number one, where are you gonna put it? Secondly, there's a creek that runs through there. That might, I don't know if there's any kind of endangered species, with DNR, you never know what you're dealing with respect to endangered species or whatever. And there are a lot of frogs and stuff down in there. But I think it's something worth looking at. And if we could do it, that would be a good use to maybe drive usage of that. But again, I think Billy brings up a good point that, they may take a look at it and say, now we can't. But I think it's worth investigating.
What about maybe a walking trail down through there?
Yeah, I'm envisioning a fishing pond with like an asphalt trailer or a gravel walking trail through there. One of the challenges in talking to people around there that was brought up is you got the elementary school right there. What if a kid fell in? So those are all things that we'll need to consider, but I think it's at least worth looking at.
The other option is that fishing pond idea is not a bad idea, but would it be better at Lincoln?
No. So the
I don't
topographical area where
How-
Veterans
yeah.
Park is conducive to putting in something like that. Like a lake or pond, and that creek, you'd actually want that to
Yeah.
run into the pond. So, or the lake, mini lake or large pond,
Large pond, I
Yeah.
think is what we're talking about.
mini lake or large pond, yeah.
But those are just some of the challenges that just in walking the property
Yeah.
the other day that
Just
might manifest themselves.
after speaking with you, some of the things that I've come across with is, Department of Conservation, they recommended, to have someone look at from the county and a contractor to look at it to get cost estimates and see if the soil is capable of holding water, if it's built correctly, and then get an estimate of what that may cost. And I would ask the council to consider a motion to allow the city to pursue getting cost estimates and county recommendations for the soil if it's suitable. Other discussions is, I've had people talk about, well, it needs to have a fence around it. Well, parks everywhere has ponds and lakes and Bowling Green has one in there, Central Park and Huckleberry Park and Hannibal and stuff. So And I know there's always a liability of something happening, but we have Mississippi River down here too, that we got a long stretch of water that's borders us, so.
As long as they put the proper signage
Yeah.
up and everything else.
Well, I would make the motion that we should at least find out some idea of cost and whether it's even possible, whether the soil is
Compatible.
compatible to it, or it's gonna
Check all the age.
permeable and leak water like crazy.
You heard, you heard the motion, we got a second here, Councilman Giltner, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say yes,
Yes.
opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Councilman Bell,
Okay. I've got some Lincoln Park proposals. I'm gonna put all the rumors to rest. We are not tearing down any building at Lincoln Park. Matter of fact, we're gonna regrade the parking lot and level it. This is an upcoming event that will happen this summer. We're going to extend Allen Street through the parking lot up to the hill and add a fire hydrant there. There's a small bridge there. We're looking into the bridge right now. Maybe we can, with the county, maybe we can get a bigger bridge put in for bigger vehicles and bigger trucks to go through there. That bridge should have been replaced years ago.
Yeah.
And there is a water line that we have had the one of the people that live over there leave their hydrant on in the winter, so it would not freeze. That should have been bored underneath the creek. So we're gonna have that done, and we're gonna extend it to the far side of the parking lot, which is Allen Street. The Allen Street will be paved up to there. Then we're gonna get new playground equipment. We're gonna fix the restrooms that are not working. And we're gonna replace the electric in the pavilion. This is all stuff that's gonna be done. So. That should have been done 20 years ago.
just for the council's information, we've already talked about this in work study session with some of the funds that we have. We got funds to do that, so this isn't taxpayers' money that we are using. This is funds that we acquired and we'll be using it to make improvements on the riverfront and Lincoln Park and if possible, Veterans Park, and then
Yeah, I'd like to see most of the Veterans Park stuff.
And we are not forgiving any other parts. We are working on all the parts. If you've noticed, we've done things throughout the year. If you've noticed. If you haven't noticed, you wouldn't notice it. So.
If you haven't noticed, you won't notice. I'm just having fun.
I know, I understand. That's all.
more to come on that.
Amen.
Councilman Twitchell.
I have been wanting to put permanent signs. Welcoming people to Louisiana, get rid of some of the ones that are aged. That look like they're ready to fall over, especially the one on Highway 79. That enters into the city from the south. We really need to replace.
Down there.
Yeah,
Okay.
replace that. I'd like to have it be stone or brick. I'd like it to be lit from either behind the welcome to Louisiana part would be metal and it would come forward. And I'd like to have lighting behind it, and if we can't afford that, then at least have lighting that would shine up on it. But lighting in some way or form. And then in the design of those signs, I'd like it to be set up so that, for example, if the sign is like this, that attached to it, there's a place that we could put banners. And those banners would be able to be changed. And those banners would promote Colorfest, or they would promote like Church Walk, or they would promote the house tours, or they promote Momo Fest. But those banners would be able to be pulled out. And the banners would be something like, 3 feet wide by like 5 feet tall, something like that inside of that permanent structure, whereas the structure back here would be the Welcome to Louisiana part. What we need to do is we need to figure out what kind of cost that's gonna be. I know Tim and I probably gonna be around $8,000 to $10,000 per one of those kind of signs. We definitely need to do it, in my opinion, on the entrance to, the southern entrance to the city. But it'd be also really nice if we could do it some bridge or coming into town, depending upon what kind of estimates we get and, whether we have the money.
So will you put that in form of a motion to go out for bids?
I would like to place it as a motion that we go out for bids on putting in permanent signs on at least 2 of the entryway into the city.
Okay. We got a second, any discussion?
My only question is, if you put one by the bridge, I mean, it's all private property around here for the most part. Do we have to get any kind of special permissions or?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have,
Yeah.
we'll have to talk to,
Yeah,
hopefully Airco or somebody like that would like to donate a small portion.
What about other businesses using it?
Um,
Like using it and they pay a fee to rent it out, like if there's a for cure, everything that.
I think that'd be a good idea. Certainly help.
So I know you already made a motion second. And you mentioned 2 signs, I think possibly 3 and have the bid spec'd out per sign.
Right.
So that way the council, would
It'd
you,
be nice to have one at the bridge somewhere like where Airco is, on 54. They'd like to give up some of their property there at the edge. But then we've also got the 54 coming, from the west into town. It would be really nice. The one that I think absolutely just is screaming is the one on 79 when you're coming in from the south, because a lot of people like to come into town that way in the fall for Color Fest, because it's such a pretty drive through along the river. And we do not have a good first impression when they first come into town.
clarification, the second?
Yeah.
Do you mind if it's amended?
Yeah.
You do mind?
No, I do not. I do.
Would you like to amend?
Yes, I'm in the 3 signs.
Okay, cost per sign?
If we don't advertise ourselves, who is?
Well, maybe not anything as extravagant as that, but there's a lot of people that like that drawing as well.
Right. So I amended just cost per sign.
Or cost-
I would just like
Up
to
to
make
4
a,
signs.
I'll second, I would like to make a motion and we just amend it to get bids for the cost per sign. And then once we get the bids, we want to do it or not.
Yeah.
Where we want to put them.
And if we can afford to do
And what
1,
we can
2,
afford
3, or
to do.
4.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. All right, motion carries. All right, miscellaneous business. Any other miscellaneous business? Or comments from the public on any items discussed during the meeting?
Good evening. My name is Sharita Morrison. And first off, I want to say that I find it a little unsettling that my name was not added to the agenda when you called me and you said that it would be put on there.
Let me address that real quick. I mean, when I did speak to you, I said I will let you speak at the beginning of the meeting with the public comment section. It's not an agenda item, but yes, you're allowed to speak as you are allowed to speak right now.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. We know city governance isn't easy and we appreciate your work on the behalf of the community. We formed a concerned citizen group to advocate for transparency, accountability, and public trust across Pike County and that includes here in Louisiana. We're here because public confidence in our local system, including law enforcement, has been shaken, not by one event, but by a pattern. And while the current focus has been on the Pike County Sheriff's Office, the truth is, every department, every city, and every official that stays silent risks being part of the problem. Louisiana PD has faced its own share of concerns in recent years. While we're not here to revisit any specific cases, we are here to say loudly and clearly, the public deserves to know that oversight exists. Across Pike County, we've seen questionable incidents, whistleblower allegations, and troubling lack of follow-up or transparency from agencies that work alongside Louisiana Police Department. This isn't isolated. It's a system,
You turn.
systemic. When departments stay silent or fail to communicate publicly, it sends a message: we're not accountable to the people who pay us. We're organizing, we're filing sunshine requests, and we're formally petitioning for a civilian oversight board for Pike County under Missouri statute number 590.653. A statute that explicitly gives city and counties the authority to create these boards. But we're not stopping there. Louisiana is a municipality with its own police department, and under the same law, this council can create its own oversight board for Louisiana Police Department. A body made up of residents with a clear process for reviewing complaints, patterns, and public concerns. We're asking you to take this step, and we're here to help you do it. What we're asking from this council: support the Pike County COB petition. You may not control the sheriff's office, but a public statement of support would help. Work with us to explain a City of Louisiana Civilian Oversight Board, whether through resolution, ordinance, or committee. The city has the power to lead by example. Commit to transparency around Louisiana Police Department operations. This could include public access to policy manuals, complaint procedures, use of force data, budget, and more. Stand with your constituents. We're asking for a public acknowledgement that these concerns are valid and that this council believes in oversight, not silence. You are trusted by your committee to lead. That trust is shaken, not just by one department, but by a countywide silence that has persisted too long. We're not asking you to fix everything overnight. We're asking you to start by listening, by acting, and by helping rebuild public faith in the system meant to serve us. This is your opportunity to lead, and we'll hope you'll take it.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Excuse me. Yeah, go ahead. As you're doing that, I do want to respond to that. If the council,
Sure.
don't have an issue, but the public needs to know, in 2022, as I spoke with you over the phone, I ran for mayor specifically because we had a corrupt police department. And since my first 6 months in office dealt with a lot of turmoil with a corrupt police department and a not so pleasant council, we did turn the page, and we did do so even at the cost or sacrifice of a young man's life. It wasn't my voice, it's that young man that lost his I'll end with this. We have gotten rid of 10 officers since I became mayor because they didn't meet our standards. So your points are valid, and I don't have any issues with your suggestions going before this council. And we always stand on the side of transparency. This council, we address issues as they come before us. It's not always going to be popular, and we're never going to make everyone happy. I know that as a fact. I feel for the families' losses that lost loved ones prior to me coming into office, and those in the county that have been lost since. This city and this council and our citizens demand that we have a legitimate and professional police department. And even though we may have some disagreements with certain citizens in the town, I believe we are on that path now. You know how hard it is to come back after a corrupt police department leaves its wake upon a city? It took years to get up to stand up.
Can I say something, Tim? Thank you. I've been on the council a year, okay? And while we still have a way to go, you can always improve.
Yes, sir.
The improvement in this police department in the year that I've been on the council and in the years before that, when I was involved with city government, you know, as a citizen, is light years compared to where we were now, where we're at now compared to where we were. I sit on the committee of the council that deals with police issues. And I will tell you right now, we vet these people. We turn down as many as we approve. And we jump through all the hoops and we dot all the i's and all the t's to make sure that we're getting high quality professional police officers. Because just from where I'm coming from, one of the obligations of city government is police protection, water, and streets. Okay, and I think it's a credit. Yeah, we have a long way to go and we do disagree on things at times, okay? But everybody in this city government is committed to having the highest quality and most professional police department that we can have. And I will tell you, one of the challenges that we run up against is that nobody wants to be a cop anymore. And so what we deal with sometimes are people coming in here for whatever reasons they want to apply. And we have to reject them because their heart isn't in the right place with respect to policing and the use of deadly force and some other issues that we deal with. And so this committee and this council is on top of this problem. And we're working hard. And can we do it better? We can always do it better. But I think, and I have no disagreement like the mayor with any of this stuff. But we're working on it. We're not the problem anymore.
My thing is that I feel like we've all heard the things that has happened. Even you, Mayor, you even told me, well, I'm gonna be quiet because now it has nothing to do with us. For once, it doesn't have anything to do with us. Then who, if God made this world for us to tend it and take care of it. And that means as people, us as a people, we're supposed to be the ones tending to it. So if we continue to be quiet on certain things, then where does that leave people? To trust in anything, in humanity.
I get what you're saying, but our best hope is to lead by example. And that's what we're trying to do.
Believe me, we have turned down so many people. I check almost a weekly basis, maybe more than once a week with Don, who's on the police committee. Say, where are we on the officers? What have we got in terms of resumes?
Come here to knock you or to be combative.
I don't take it that way.
No. I just want to make try to be transparent here right now. And we've certainly, we have fired several of recent, of which we've gotten some heat. Because of
Ken,
that.
Ken,
And, I have to say that Josh Baker has, they may have made some mistakes, I don't know. But you try working the kind of schedule they were working after the situation we had, when basically we have what, two police people, two police,
Two police officers.
Yeah, too.
they were trying to take care of everything. I mean, it was, talk about impossible. So we really worked on it, we really have. Now, the idea of having a citizen review board, I don't have a problem with that, because we're being as open as we can.
Yeah.
The question is, you know, how do we go about doing that? I don't know. Is this
The other
something we should be
question
talking
is,
about at the
are
next
they
work
gonna be
session?
qualified?
so
You gotta know what you're doing,
I'm go,
like a police officer.
go ahead.
So,
Go
but
ahead.
this is for the citizens
Yeah.
to oversee it, so you have to have qualifications to.
We can't give away our statutory duty. Even though we can include citizens, members will still be from this board as well. But I thank you for your time. And if you want to engage in such more in detail, I'd say probably come attend our work study session.
Yes.
Certainly,
It's food for thought.
it's definitely food for thought.
Thank you.
Okay. You had a good point. Only problem is, you're not gonna get good police officers in this town, as long as you have Chief Baker's chief. Officers don't, good officers do not wanna work for that man. They're not gonna get, and you're hiring family, you're hiring your friends, are you hiring the most qualified people, or are you just hiring them because of your friends? Now, for 5 months, I've been denied to speak at council meetings, I've turned letters in like I was supposed to. I have no answer, I don't get no answers, I'm just told I can't speak. While ago, you went through real quick before I could get up and say anything, did you? Why don't I get an answer to my letters for speaking it? I follow the regulation. I write the letter, I turn it in before Wednesday. I get no answers. I'm not on the agenda. She wasn't on the agenda. Do you pick and choose who speaks and what they speak about?
Yeah, actually, I do control the agenda, and your item is not an agenda item.
Her item
You,
wasn't agenda either.
and she spoke, and you're speaking right now, Mr. Henry.
But
So
I'm not
you
done.
well, you got about a minute and a half left.
Yeah, so everybody else gets all the time they want, but I only get 3 minutes, huh?
You haven't
No,
said anything
I
yet.
wanna work for him. Pretty honest, my office is always open. Ain't nobody get in to see you. Well, what about anybody can come up to council meeting, just get up, walk up, speak about what they want? That didn't last long. Now, because I get up and ask questions, I have to write a letter, turn
So
it
would you
in.
go ahead and tell us what your question is instead of complaining? We'd like to know the question.
Please do not interrupt me when I'm speaking, sir. I'm not allowed to interrupt anybody here. And you
Will do.
just set an example.
You go right ahead.
You got police officers, you got council members, throwing their nose at the public, breaking the laws, breaking the ordinances that they took an oath to upheld. I was verbally assaulted, threatened, and physically assaulted by Councilman Geltner, which I have not found out why, because he did not like me, and I was trying to turn in a letter that you told me I had to give to him to speak at the meeting, and I was threatened and assaulted. And then he lied in court about it. I have proof of that too.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Henry.
Okay.
I would like to add, I still
Up,
get
up.
to figure out.
Thank you. Excuse me,
Complain about.
Councilman Twitchell's always talking after I get done, so I cannot answer him. I gonna be allowed
Well,
to
I
answer
would
him.
like you to answer.
It's
What
second
was your
warning.
question?
Sit down. Councilman.
Mayor, council, well, I would just hear about our, the library's, request from your study session on the 10th. You had 2 requests. One was to add our names to the, CDs that the library has in the reserve account, which is really the special fund, as well as the request to, change that reserve account to a higher yielding product. So I was just asking if there's any.
Yeah, so from our work study session, we talked about when the CDs are renewed, changing the signatures on that. So what we'll do is, we'll cash out that CD, cash it out, and then we'll renew it with the new signers on it. So we'll transfer it back over into it. We'll roll it over with new signers on it. It's got all the paperwork's going to have to be redone with it.
As it's, so it's renewed in both, there's a CD in each bank.
Right, yeah,
So when those are renewed next month,
right. But this council will still have to take a vote on that. I think the council at the work study session didn't have any objections to doing that. So we'll meet again on the 31st during a special meeting and we'll take a vote on that. Now, as far as the special reserve account or the special funds, we had not ascertained any information as far as what's allowable as far as, statutorily, as far as what type of a fund it can go into. We know it can go into a CD, but as far as the money market, we just need to verify and make sure that we follow statutory guidelines
is
on
that
that.
something we should help us up?
So probably with our city attorney, we'd like to see what type of instruments, financial instruments are allowed for governmental entities in the state of Missouri. So. Anything else from the public? Hearing none, entertain a motion to go into closed sessions per 610.120 subsection 1, 2, and 3, allowing the council, the city attorney, the clerk, and the city treasurer and the state auditors to go into closed session. We have a first. Is there a second? Second, take the roll call, please.
Councilman Sudar,
Yes.
Councilman Bell,
Yes.
Councilman Giltner,
Yes.
Councilman Gott,
Yes.
Councilman Price,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Portis,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Twitchell.
Yes.
All right, so Sergeant at Arms, go ahead and clear the council chambers. We're gonna be having our closed session in here.